10 at 10.
It's hard because it's something that's distant from us. There are things that are happening in other parts of the world, but at the same time, these are people just like us that are going through the same things in their lives.
A feeling of solidarity among those who stand together, honoring people affected by terror around the world. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Krista Baim. With areas of Europe in high alert, it's leaving an uneasy feeling for some here at home. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood joined hundreds at Olivet Lutheran Church tonight as they talk of acceptance towards refugees entering the state of North Dakota.
It's just sort of shocking, and it's hard to really wrap your brain around that something like that could have happened. It's a hard thing to understand why anyone would ever want to do some of the things that have been happening with the attacks in Paris and then in the Middle East.
In a state of panic and anxiety from recent attacks, responding in unity is just one way some in Fargo are honoring those affected by the terror in our world.
It's a real statewide effort to try to bring people together to just say both that to both remember and to think through the implications of terrorism in the last week or two, and then also to show solidarity for refugees around the world.
Grand Forks, Bismarck, and here in Fargo held a candlelight vigil.
It's a real statewide effort to try to bring people together to just say to both remember and to think through the implications of terrorism in the last week or two, and then also to show solidarity for refugees around the world.
The candlelight opened an emotional dialogue on refugee resettlement in the state.
It's unfortunate the terrorism is taking place all over the world right now, but people should not be denied the opportunity, the rights to come and have happiness.
With prayers of peace, messages of solidarity, and even songs brought those together.
People here are known for being nice, and it's hard to understand why anybody would want to turn people away when they need help.
You can change history. You can change the future, but history has been written. It is there, and the facts are there.
In Fargo, Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
Grand Forks and Bismarck also held a vigil tonight to honor those affected by terror in recent headlines. Meanwhile, the FBI is commenting on an alleged ISIS threat targeting an arena in Atlanta tomorrow. According to an article in the International Business Times, the hacker group Anonymous said it uncovered plans to attack many places around the world, including a WWE wrestling event, the Survivor Series, scheduled tomorrow night at Phillips Arena. The FBI said it does not have credible evidence of a planned attack, but local, state, and federal officials are taking precautions. Brussels remains on a virtual lockdown tonight as the Belgian government raised its terror threat for that city to the highest level and warned of an imminent threat of a Paris-style attack. Hundreds of protesters remain outside the 4th Precinct in Minneapolis tonight, vowing to maintain their vigil for Jamar Clark, a black man who was shot and killed by police last Sunday. They say they won't move until videotapes of the shootings are released. The Assistant Attorney General says releasing the video now could hurt the case. Governor Mark Dayton released a statement today saying he has met with the Clark family and has urged the tapes to be provided to the family and public as soon as doing so will not jeopardize the investigation. Water searches have been suspended for a boater who went missing in a Lake of the Woods accident in October. 28-year-old Keith Ayers of Baudette was last seen leaving a resort on Oak Island late at night on October 2nd with 2 friends. The bodies of Justin Hogvet and Cody Ostendorf were found about a week after they all went missing. The Lake of the Woods Sheriff's Office says they may have one more aerial search, weather permitting. It's who many of us turn to when we need someone the most, our families. And today, 12 children joined their own. Their adoptions were finalized on National Adoption Day at the Cass County Courthouse. Families released balloons representing each person involved in their adoption. As a social worker, Katie Ambule was familiar with the adoption process, and as her and her husband Jason looked to adopt, their journey came with several challenges. They actually went through 4 failed adoptions before they finally were meant to meet their son Harrison.
Adoption is really a great way to grow a family. Harrison has been a blessing to us, and that's all because of the process of adoption. Being an adoption social worker and being able to work with many birth parents and adoptive families, I was able to see over and over and over again the joy that it can bring a family.
More than 54,000 children had their adoptions finalized on National Adoption Day since it began in 1999. A chilly night for a run, but it's all worth it for hundreds who ran to honor America's fallen law enforcement heroes. The site almost looks like there's an emergency, but those are officers leading off more than 200 runners who hit the pavement to honor the fallen at NDSU. This is the first for an officer down 5K in Fargo. A local officer's wife helped get it moving to honor those who put their lives on the line every day for our communities, along with the 113 officers killed in the line of duty so far this year.
It's sickening, it's sad, and the sad thing is it's not getting any better. So it's very important to come together as a community, like I said, on just a day where we're supporting those in blue, rather than wait until it's too late and then come together once an officer is killed.
There are already plans in the works for next year's Officer Down Run.